Konnichiwa, hello and welcome. This is Roy at Ninjazola90, and today I will be reviewing the BanDai Namco Godzilla action figure series Godzilla 2023 figure, aka Godzilla Minus One. And I got some things to say about it, so let's get things started. And now, starting things off with the box, because you know we got to talk about really cool boxes on this channel when we have them. Of course, you can see on the boxes for the other two figures that I reviewed in this line, this box is more of a lighter blue colorization, still sporting the incorrect BanDai Creations Godzilla 1954 right there. Which I actually do have that very same figure, by the way. I'm just not bringing them out this time, because I've already brought them out twice for these reviews. But anyway, we have a very beautiful, bright, vibrant, glittery blue Japanese Godzilla name logo right there, with some very bright, vivid yellow outlining there. And of course, the top right corner, we have the Godzilla title logo, we have the BanDai Namco company logo, and of course we have for ages 4+, so this is basically a figure that's safe for kids. It's basically a figure that is good for all ages, including older collectors like me. And of course we have the BanDai logo, we have the Godzilla movie logo again, we have the title of the figure. It says Godzilla 2023, which is Godzilla Minus One. And we have Godzilla action figure articuli again, which should be articulation or articulated Godzilla. But everybody calls this BanDai Namco Godzilla action figure series. That's really what they should simplify it and change the name, especially where it says articuli. Articuli. What does articuli mean anyway? But anyway, yeah, I just said anyway twice. Now that makes it 3 times. But anyway, oh, there we go. I'm saying anyway again. But getting a look at the top of the hang tag at the top of the box, where we can see a warning label. It says choking hazard, so that's basically letting you know that this is not a piece of sushi. It's not edible, so don't look at this figure or this box and get hungry and try to take a bite out of it, because it's not gonna go over so well. So definitely keep that in mind. You know, you have to know the difference between your edible and inedible items, especially when you're shopping. So definitely keep that in mind. But I think everybody within their right mind all knows that by now. But anyway, getting a look at the side of the box here, we see a really cool movie accurate picture of Godzilla Minus One right there, looking really, really fearsome and mean. Get a good close-up of that. That is really nice. Makes me think of what the side of a Godzilla Minus One VHS release would look like. Yeah, I'm getting really old school here. But anyway, the top of the box, we have the Godzilla title logo. And of course, the top of the cover of the box also has the same thing. The other side of the box basically has the same name, title, and everything that's on the front of the box. So, and of course, the bottom left corner, which I almost missed, we have the Godzilla Kaiju logo and the Toho company logo, of course. The bottom of the box is a bunch of legal jargon and information about this figure. I guess I'm not even about to try to read that. And the back of the box, of course, is where the interesting stuff is. Where, of course, it says the title of the figure and everything, just like it says on the front. We have the Godzilla title logo yet again. And we have even more figures displayed on the back of the box now than we had on the other two figures. We do, of course, have the BanDai Namco Godzilla Action Figure Series Godzilla 2023, the BanDai Namco Godzilla Action Figure Series Godzilla Minus One right here. We even have the Godzilla Minus One emblem right there, looking really cool. We have, of course, the BanDai Namco Godzilla Action Figure Series Godzilla 2004 Final Wars figure, and of course we have the BanDai Namco Godzilla Action Figure Series Mecha Godzilla 2022, aka Kiryu right there. Looking really nice. I am definitely looking forward to more in this line because this is a very affordable, budget-friendly line, and I really love these figures for the life of me because these are really cool. And of course we have some more information right there, and yeah, that's about it. That pretty much wraps it up for the box. Now on to the figure. And now here we have the BanDai Namco Godzilla Action Figure Series Godzilla 2023, aka Godzilla Minus One, in all of his minus glory. As you can see, this is a really cool, affordable, budget-friendly figure that has a good, decent amount of detail and articulation. Of course, the detail on these figures are not as crisp or as sharp as you would see on a Hiya Toys or SH Monster Arts or even a NECA figure, but I mean, this is pretty much around the same price point you would have gotten a NECA figure for, although I would have to say NECA figures were a little bit more detailed. But these are smaller in scale, and they also pack in a lot of articulation, and that I like. So, but I mean, you're not going to have nearly as much, sharper detail if you're making smaller scale figures, so that's perfectly understandable. But you know what? In the meantime, I actually like these figures way better than what I originally thought. So, going over detail, if I can bring him up, we have all the movie-accurate colorizations of Godzilla Minus One. As you can see, he's more of this darker, I would say, kind of like a muddier-looking charcoal gray color. And we can see he also sports some light tannish brown colorizations, looking like he just kind of like almost like a sand color on his body, where you can see his little bitty small spots. And of course we have his eye scar where Chikashima blew up that buoy bomb in his mouth and his face regenerated, so you can see that. And if you look at him real close, let me turn my light on. His eyes are basically stamped on, but the paint applications look really good, so I'm not complaining. And you could even see that same sort of sand brown colorization on the top of his head, where we have those little I would say little small like bumps on the top of his head that Godzilla has, and that goes all the way down to his dorsal spines, looking really nice, where his dorsal spines go all the way down to the tip of his tail, where they start getting smaller and tapering off. And of course, articulation-wise with this figure, the mouth can open and close on a ball joint, of course, and we can see his very sharp, beautiful, pearly white teeth in there, and we can see the inside of his mouth and his tongue, which is just basically red. I mean, you don't really see all the finer details like you would on a Hiya Toys or a SH Monster Arts or even a NECA. So yeah, it is what it is with this one. It's just mainly just plain Jane, but I'm not complaining. And of course, the head can look up about that much. It could look down about that much. It could turn to the right. It could turn to the left, and it could do a full 360 cranium revolvus, like so. The arms are on a, while the shoulders are on a ball joint hinge ratchet joint. As you can see, we can bring them up about that much, back down about that much. They are also removable, like so, and you could put them back together. Same is true with the other arm. So there is some assembly required with these figures out of the box, as I've stated before. And as you can see, I will bring them up closer so you can see, and not just drop the figure, how the shoulder joints are very ratchety, how they have that ratchet mechanism in there. You can hear it clicking. That's a good thing, because that makes those joints stay on pretty strong, so you don't have to worry about this thing popping apart on you. And of course, it does have some good ratchet elbow joints as well, so we can bend those elbows forward and back. Same is true with the other arm, as you are seeing. We also have a wrist swivel, so we can swivel those hands all the way around a full 360. And we also do have a hinge in the wrist as well, so we can do some really cool claw swiping action. And of course, moving right along down to the hips and the legs and the knees and the feet and all that good stuff. The legs are on ball joints, and they are also removable, like so. I apologize, I just hit my camera by accident. And the same is true with the other leg. So we can remove those legs and put them back on. We can also rotate those hips a full 360, like so, before they pop off. But you could just easily pop them back on. Same is true with the other leg. And yep, popped off, and then pop it back on. It only pops off if you try to rotate them all the way around, but you can still spread them out like so, and then bring them back in. You could kick forward about that much, like so, and then yeah, you could sit them down like that if you want. And we do have some really cool looking hand claws and toe claws on this one, but they're just basic. Well, actually no, they're more of a if I look at them, they're more of a darker brown colorization, so that looks really cool. And yeah, they are actually painted. Look at that. I didn't notice that till now. Looking really nice. The knees are on a hinge joint as well, so we can bend them forward and back like so. Same is true with the other leg. The ankles, the feet are on a ball joint, so we can swivel them all the way around a full 360 like so, and we can rock them forward and back if we choose to. And of course, moving right along to the tail. The tail is comprised of 1, 2, 3 articulation segments. Not very much, but it's still something. We can move the tail a little bit this way and a little bit that way like this. We do have some ball joint motion in the middle section of the tail and in the tip, but due to the way it's made and the hardness of the plastic, it is rather stiff and you really can't move it all that much. So if there's any downsides to this figure, it's probably the fact that the articulation in the tail is limited, but I'm really not taking off any points for the price and for practically what this figure is. And the tail is also removable, as you can see, and you can put them back. And best of all, this figure does come with an accessory. You get his heat ray breath effect part. So basically how you put this in is you have another secondary jaw piece that's already made onto the bottom of, well, the back tip of the heat ray breath effect part. So what you do is you basically take your thumb and you pop out the bottom of the jaw, and you see where that socket is in the back of his throat there. You take this and you basically pop that in there like so, and then yeah, there you have it. Godzilla Minus One firing off his heat ray, his atomic breath, as you can see, spinning that head all the way around like he's Mecha Godzilla. Because you can do that with this figure. I know that looks kind of silly, but it is what it is. And there goes his tail. Yeah. Alright. And just because, you know what, his tail came off, and because I've seen Shinra Jira do this, let's just do it for the heck of it. Paprikola. Whatever. I don't know I was going to get that reference because of those old commercials. But anyway, that pretty much concludes it for this review for this figure. So I will now be getting into my final verdict and giving this figure a final score based on detail, articulation, and playability. So let's get to it. And now for my final verdict on the BanDai Namco Godzilla action figure series, Godzilla 2023 figure here, aka Godzilla Minus One. If I have to give this figure a score based on detail, articulation, and playability, I have to give him a drum roll, please. A very fair but square, well-deserved, knocked out of the park home run score of 5 out of 5 stars. Why? Number one, this figure is very affordable. It is a budget-friendly line aimed for Godzilla fans and kaiju collectors of all ages. So this is not just necessarily geared toward adults. So there is basically child safety precautions that goes into making these figures, so we can't really expect full-on movie accurate detail with these figures, so I can't take points off in that area for that category, but it is detailed enough to where it is recognizable as Godzilla Minus One, and we have all the spots and everything, all those like lighter tannish brown dry brushing to bring it out, making it look as movie accurate as possible. So we have at least somewhat of those finer details in there. And of course the articulation on this figure is pretty solid for what it is. It's not a whole lot compared to a Hiya Toys or an SH Monster Arts, but it is what it is. I would say it's more comparable, sort of similar to what a NECA figure was back in the day. Although, I would say NECA probably had it at least a little bit more articulation. I mean, I should know. I have a bunch of NECA Godzilla stuff, but I would say NECA figures do have more articulation. But this figure does have enough articulation. Well, at least these figures have enough articulation to justify for the cost. So I'm not complaining there. So it gets a pass on articulation. Playability gets a definite pass. This figure does not fall apart if you look at it too hard. I mean, you can pose it, you can battle with other figures, you can do what you want to do with this figure, and it's not falling to pieces, except for maybe this tail if you try to force articulation, but it just pops off. I mean, I'd rather it pop off than break. So I mean, this is a budget line, so you can't expect top-notch articulation out of here. So yeah, you can't expect for these figures to have the same amount of articulation as a Monster Arts for the price. So that's why I'm not taking points off or complaining about this one. I mean, it is what it is. It gets an absolute total pass for me, and yeah, I would have to say it is a highly recommended figure, and like I said, I am definitely looking forward to more of this line, especially the BanDai Namco Godzilla action figure series, Godzilla 1991, because that one is definitely on my to-buy list, especially for a review on this channel. And as always, to wrap things up, if you made it this far into the video, thank you guys all so much for watching. That helps out this channel greatly. I appreciate that a lot. And if you haven't already, you definitely like and subscribe. And as always, stay safe, take care, God bless, and peace out.